Hey, everybody, welcome back to Grey Roots Podcast to season 3. This one is called, let's all say it at the same time, In
In
Your
your
Face.
face.
Yeah, where we take the gloves off a little bit. We're kind of saying some hard things. Hey, girls, how are you?
Hey. Hey, hey.
Here with my BFFs. Um, so today, this is for last week. Actually, let's reverse. Last week, we were talking to you mother-in-laws about the responses that we had received from the daughter-in-laws, and we got so many. So if you're interested in that, if you haven't listened to that one yet, I would recommend going back and listening to that because some of the responses that we got were just heartbreaking. But this one is listening to you guys. And honestly, when I made this post, because I'm like, if we're going to give the daughter-in-laws a chance, we need to give the mother-in-laws a chance to speak their piece too. So
Mhm.
honestly, I wasn't expecting. Were you guys expecting us to get any responses?
No, not really.
Not really. And we didn't get many. We didn't get many. But the ones we did get were, I mean, I think we were all together when we read that first one we just got
Mhm.
chills. We got choked up. So we're going to start with that first one. And daughter-in-laws, listen. And actually let's just take a minute to get in a posture of like humility because I feel like daughter-in-laws that when you hear some of this, it's gonna maybe cause you to get defensive a little bit, maybe, but just maybe approach these responses with humility and understanding, right? We're all trying to do that. We wanted mother-in-laws to do that for you, and so we're asking that you can do that for the mother-in-laws as well. So, daughter-in-laws, listen up. This one was, let's start here. She said, I want my future daughter in laws to know that although I probably won't meet all of her expectations, I hope she knows that I'm always only for her. So this one isn't in it yet, but is already coming in with a posture of being for them. We are for you. And that's a common theme. Don't you think, you guys, that that is a common theme? Is we're for you. It may not come across
Yes.
that way, but we want to be for you. They want to only be a source of love, support, encouragement. And if it ever doesn't feel like that, come to me and let's talk through it.
Hmm.
It may be something that's misunderstanding. Never let bitterness take root. And I think that is key. Never let bitterness take root. So, and we talked about this last week, we also have to be a place of safety and trust so that they can come to us if there's something going on and that we don't just get defensive and defend ourselves. And well, I did this and she did that. Never let bitterness take root. Because let's be honest, I be wanting to take care of them grandbabies every chance I get. And I love that she said that because honestly, we really want to do that, but also came back around and said, okay, it really is. That's not really my reason. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Just being for them and being a place of love and support and encouragement.
Love that
I
she
do.
said that. I don't necessarily think that's unfortunately, I don't think a lot of these daughters-in-law have experienced that. Of course, I think that's probably more mother-in-law's goals than maybe the young women, I keep calling them girls, sorry, they're young ladies, young women know. Because again, I think we have assumptions. We all assume in this kind of relationship, and unfortunately, we often assume the worst. And I think on both sides, we don't assume that they're for the relationship, for us, for, you know, boundaries, when often that's not the case. It's more of just a miscommunication
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah. I think what Kathy said, right? Like maybe the mothers-in-law are coming in and we do really want to be for them. But how many of the daughters-in-law are, like you said last week, writing the shitty first draft of like, oh, well, they did this or said this or, and how much of their own stuff are they bringing in? Right. If you have some baggage where maybe people in your family, maybe if they get upset about something, then they get vindictive and do something to you. And maybe you're bringing that into the relationship where you're like, well, I guess, my mother-in-law was upset with this, so she must have been trying to hurt me.
Mhm.
I love, Carrie, that mother-in-law said, "If you think there's something, come talk to me about it. If you're upset with me about something, please come tell me," right?
Yeah, because intent.
And maybe I was being a shitty mother-in-law, right? But, like,
Mhm.
come tell me and give me the opportunity to like, "You know what? I was having a moment,
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, and that was the
yeah.
wrong thing to do. Can you please forgive me?"
Absolutely.
give us the space of that. Like, we're human too.
Yeah, and it can be little things. Like, I was thinking about just this weekend, Kayla and all the kids came over and Taylor, and it's small things, but because we're doing this podcast, I have different eyes for that
Uh-huh.
relationship, and I have pictures up of everybody, like, everybody has their own square, and now there's so many. And I even have the grandbabies have their own 8 by 10, and I change them out every now and then. And Cal, her 2 sons are in black and white, and the rest, everybody is in color. And it's because I was gonna put those up. I have a reason. It's not, but from her perspective, just a small thing, right? Oh, why are they in black and white? Why are my kids in black and white? Just a small little thing. And she was gonna, I got some weights that she wanted to have, and I was like, I'll clean these weights off for you, and you can take them when you come. Well, I didn't. She was like, "Do you have those weights?" I was like, "Yes." They're full of cobwebs and and I was like, "Ew, I should have cleaned them off like I told her." But and so my intent is, love you, I am for you, but these little things that can say, I'm not for you, I don't care about, whatever. And if these go on and on and on, believing that I have ill intent can
Uh-huh.
just wreck a relationship. And mom over here going, I don't know what the problem is. But if she can say, hey, why is this? Why did you do that? Or, you said you were going to clean them off for me and you didn't. Like, why? It would just, wouldn't that just help so much down the road and
So
clear things
much.
like, "Oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I didn't do that intentionally." So, yeah, if they can just come to us and just say, "Hey, is this what you meant? Because this is what I think you meant." I'm like, "No, that is not what I meant." This one, okay, this is the one I was talking about. We'll move on to this one. This is the one that got us emotional. It says, "I feel intimidated and scared I might lose something when you join the family. I won't be the only woman in charge, and I don't want to have to share the role I've enjoyed all this time. Maybe you'll do things better than I did, and my loved ones will see the things in me I hoped they wouldn't notice. Maybe they'll trust you more, look to you as their guide, and I won't be as important anymore."
All the
That
fears.
hits. Oh, for real. Do you feel like that's common? I mean, I feel that.
I think so, yeah. Especially the fear of losing something, because if we're honest, we are.
You are.
We are
We all are.
losing we're losing position. We're losing the dynamic of the relationship. It changes. We're losing importance. But
Yeah.
it can be a transition that we're also gaining. So I think it's important for the mothers-in-law to, like, while you are losing your son, you're letting go so he can go start his own family, you're also gaining a support role that you haven't been in before, right? You get to figure out how you can be the best support without invading their space.
Mhm.
And you're gaining some independence, ladies. Come on. Again, we have a life. We don't have to be the everything to everybody now. Someone else has taken that role. They are their number one. She gets to be our son's number one. So they're not calling us first on
Mhm.
their
Yeah.
ride home. They can call her. We have to look at, again, this is the way it's designed to be. So it is something to celebrate. Not saying that it's not hard and sad and all those things. It is. But I think our attitude from the get go could help determine that. And I think that if you, as the daughter in law, could just recognize that it might be a difficult transition, that might ease your
Yeah.
judgment a little bit. Just to
Yeah.
recognize, it's going to take her, she might not get it right at first.
Yes.
She might have, especially if you're the first one, if you're the first in the family,
Mhm.
that you might have to help teach us how to be a mother in law. We don't know. We've never been in this role. And so I would ask that you would give us grace, that you would give us time, you would give us the benefit of the doubt as we're learning this new role.
Absolutely, and that is exactly where I was going with this. Because last week we're like, "Mother-in-laws, blah, 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 we need a good life." We're here is just a
Mhm.
place of empathy, and for the daughter-in-laws to really feel that and sit in that and go, "Hey, wait a minute. Wait, it's hard for her. This is a hard place because we are losing. Yes, we know we should. Yes, all the things, but to really just sit in these emotions that she's so beautifully expressed in this
Mhm.
comment."
Well, and I think about if you're a young mom listening to this and you have a son, and maybe he went off to kindergarten this year, or maybe he spent the night, or he did something big where you're like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, time is flying and this son is going to be graduating and moving on. Think about the punch in your gut that it was.
Mhm.
Multiply that by 100, and that's what happens when these boys,
Yep.
men get married. Again, it is so right and beautiful and it rips your heart out.
That's such a good perspective. Yeah, when they go off to kindergarten for the first time. Ooh, it's hard.
Especially that first one. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah, the first one.
cried at the
And the
bus stop.
last one, Tanner. Nope, you're not going.
Oh,
You're staying home with
yeah.
me until you're
Y'all are y'all are better moms. I had a block party planned when Spencer went to kindergarten. Sorry, Spence. It was an
Love.
exciting day for me. If y'all knew Spencer when he was little, you know.
good, good.
But we did know Spencer, but also it's exciting for us too when, when our kids get married. It is exciting. So I just think again, it's a both and. It's not a either you got to be great at this from the beginning or you lose us. It's a both. This is scary and we're letting go. Both this is sad, but we trust you. Both, yes, we were the matriarch and now we're the mother-in-law. It's both and. This isn't an either or relationship, but it does require grace on both sides.
And it's interesting of how those relationships are different with each daughter-in-law. Like, there's
Mhm.
no, like, "Here's how this is gonna look." It's like, "This is different for you, and I'm gonna treat you different because you have different." It's just and so we're trying to, especially when you have I guess I'm talking to people with multiple kids like us. It's not easy to know when to step in, when to step out, what to say, what it's just fine line of always, am I saying too much and am I not doing enough? Constantly right in walking that line.
A very delicate dance.
It is, it is. And I guess we are why we're here is to encourage us as mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws to be sensitive to that and to understand that and to always be in a posture of wanting to do better. This one says, I want you to know at the core of every action I take, right or wrong, the goal will always be to have close, loving, mutual relationships that keep family connected and to always be a dependable resource for you individually and as a couple.
Mm.
I like how she said that. It's in seeing them individually and supporting them individually, and then as a new family and as a couple.
And
The
again,
goal
she the word supportive, supporting role, supportive, supporting role.
mhm,
And
exactly.
we do, I think, for the most part, want to be supportive. Unfortunately, our delivery is not always great. And so it comes off as controlling or opinionated or often just misunderstood. And again, it goes back to communication. I mean, communication, trust, honesty, friendship, all the same things. I feel like we're going to say the same things to these daughters-in-law. You're getting the chance to know this woman who you don't know, but she was very important for the most part. I mean, we're assuming they had a healthy relationship, but she was very important in the life of your husband. And isn't that worth getting to know? I would think so. Like I would
Mhm.
really think it's worth it to get to know this person as a friend
Friend.
and a mentor, if I'm being honest. I know that's what I wanted. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily label it mentor, but older women, again, the older I get, the more I realize while I've lived life, they've lived a longer life. They've lived a different life, a life that I can learn from. Doesn't mean that my opinions aren't good, but it is so good to hear from someone who's lived it longer and gone through it before me. I welcome that for the most part. Now, again, I'm opinionated. If you tell me what I'm doing is wrong, I'm gonna get up in your business. But just think if we could be open to that relationship and getting to know that person, it would help.
Mhm. And it can be this beautiful dance of coming to the mother-in-law and getting that maybe she needs help cooking or how do I just different things that you can come to her for and then she's respecting your boundaries. It just can be this it can be, but do
Well,
you feel like oh go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, think about it going back to the friendship. You're the daughter-in-law. You're going to a friend's house. Often, if they're sitting there cooking, you're gonna say, "Hey, do you want me to help? Can I cut up those potatoes for you?" I mean, when y'all come to my house, well, sometimes you don't offer, but most of the time, just kidding. The princess doesn't offer. She knows
I
which one
sit and
she is.
drink wine.
But yeah, but you do. You say, "What can we do?" Or you just jump in and start cleaning up until I tell you no. And so you're the guest, if you will, the daughter-in-law in this scenario. So why not? that's what you would do at a friend's house. If you're going to a girlfriend's house, you would do that. How about you try that the next time you go to your mother-in-law's house? How about you
Mhm,
say, "Hey, can I help you cook?" Or "Can I come chat with you while
mhm,
you're cooking?" Or, "Do you want
mhm.
me to set the table?" You're showing an interest. You're putting an effort into that relationship as you would a friend. While I think that you both have responsibility, I don't think it's all the mother-in-law's responsibility to build that friendship. I think you both have to put in the effort. I mean, you're a woman too. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're these things now. I think you should put in the effort to build that relationship as well. You shouldn't totally depend on her to do that. Agree?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Do you
yeah,
see
I agree.
daughter-in-laws doing that? "Hey, do you wanna grab coffee on Tuesday?" Or, "Hey, I was thinking about you and I got you this." Do you see
Listen,
that?
tomorrow is my birthday. We're recording this before it comes out, so my birthday will have already passed. My daughter-in-law, I don't even know when I told her. This is one particular. She is a great gift giver. She pays attention to things I say. I didn't ask her, of course, for it, but somehow I mentioned I wanted it. And dadgummit showed up in the mail today for my
Oh,
birthday, a red light face mask that I
good,
wanted. Didn't I tell you guys I
good.
wanted
You
that?
did,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you were
was
talking
saying that was
about it.
something, yes, I wanted, but I don't remember telling her that, but I guess I did. And sweet little sugar sent that in the mail. Yeah. I mean, again, different, just like you're saying, different daughter-in-laws takes a different level of effort, just like it does with our children. I mean, I have to put in a different level. I've got some kids who call me every single day, multiple times a day. You know which ones they are.
yep.
3 of them. I've got some who call me once a month, only if they need to borrow money. I've got some who never call me. I mean, they different relationships. And it's the same with daughters-in-law. We have different relationships with one. I'll have some tomorrow who won't even remember it's my birthday. They won't even reach out to me at all. And then I have one who orders something that I don't even remember
Mm,
mentioning. So, you know, yeah, I do
mhm.
see some
Yeah.
doing that.
So if we're talking to the daughter-in-laws today, like, listen up, like, just, listen up and just maybe take a minute and to reassess your own situation and think back. Like, have you reached out? Have you, done these little things for your mother-in-law to let her know that you're thinking about her or you just paying
Yes.
attention to who she is as a person?
Send her a Starbucks gift card.
Send her a Starbucks
Right?
gift
I mean,
card. It
it
would
That
goes
would be
mean
both
so
ways.
so
sweet.
So,
much.
my
So
gosh.
much.
Yes.
Yes. And I think
Yes.
about my own life, and these were not my mother-in-laws, but it's just a young woman growing and coming into these different seasons of life, meeting older women. And, I remember Sue Stewart, if she's listening to this, like, I only lived with her for a year and a half, but I watched her and just was in a place of humility to go, hey, what do I need to do here? Again, it's not my mother-in-law, totally different. But just being open to having these older women learn some things. I'm sure your mother-in-law is good at something. Like, what is her thing? And just to be open to that. We need that. We women need each other. We need each other.
And I think part of the culture right now is so anti mother in law. I mean, you can't open social
Completely.
media without seeing
My gosh, yes.
mother in laws are basically the spawn of Satan. And so I think that it sets the tone. Like before you're even married, you're probably already anticipating mother in laws are evil. Mine's going to be terrible. Even if she's okay right now, I've heard she switches at the wedding or when the baby's born. And I think I would encourage you to please be careful setting yourself up with that because you don't know and don't buy in that every mother-in-law is like that because there are some of us out there busting our ass to do it right or do it better or
Better.
learn.
At least try.
So at
We're
least
trying.
try. I mean, again, we're not perfect. I can't
Mm-mm.
say that enough. Far from it. But dadgum, do we want to learn, ladies? And I want to get it right. I want these young women to know I'm for them. I'm thankful for them. And so be careful filling up on all of that. Be careful because, I mean, we know you surround you put that stuff in, it's going to
Yeah.
impact you.
Yeah.
That's such a
So,
good point. Culturally, we don't stand a chance.
no.
Movies, if there's
Yes,
ever
the
a
monster in
mother-in-law,
law.
monster-in-law, we just don't stand a chance as soon as we step into that role culturally.
Right, right. So
And so
maybe we deserve it as a group.
yeah,
I'm not saying
yeah,
we don't, but
yes.
I think there's more of us out there that really want to do better. We might not know how to do
Mhm.
better. We might not even recognize that we're sucking at it. But give us the benefit of the doubt. At least be willing to put your big girl panties on and come talk to us. And listen, if it blows up that time, you got your answer. But maybe you'll hear things like the lady who said, "I'm actually intimidated by you. I'm actually terrified of all of this." And often, I know me, when I get intimidated and terrified, it looks like sarcasm, which isn't very good. The way I cope with being intimidated is kind of ugly, actually. And when somebody confronts me with it, I get embarrassed and own up to my
I get
crap pretty
defensive.
fast. But anyway, just my thoughts on that.
Alicia?
It's interesting you say that. I had both of my daughters-in-law tell me, like, after the fact, after we had a relationship built, "I was so intimidated by you." I'm like, it confused me. I'm like, "Why are you intimidated by me?" Right? And, like, they had all
Mhm.
these reasons, and I thought, "Man, if my mother-in-law was like that, I might be intimidated too." But, like, I wasn't even on the radar for me. It was is my point, that I even could be intimidating. So if you as a mother-in-law, if you can bring awareness to that, like, you might be intimidating just as a person. I'm a very assertive person, very strong personality, hard to keep my mouth shut. I love big, but I also open my mouth big, and those don't always send the same message, right?
Well, we are. We're all strong women. But yes, I would be intimidated by you, Alicia. I'd be intimidated by both of you if you were my mothers in law because you're successful business owners. You're women who have, I mean, Carrie, you raised 5 kids by your freaking self. Alicia, you got in the nitty gritty and you helped your boys get through some tough stuff while running a business, while both of you like have the bodies of 20-year-olds. I'm intimidated constantly about that. So I would imagine as a young woman, that's pretty intimidating. I mean, I freaking am a child development specialist. I'm probably pretty intimidating to a young
Yeah,
mom, when I sit and
Mhm.
preach.
yeah,
I wouldn't want a parent in front of me and worry about getting judged because, I'm pretty opinionated on parenting if you haven't noticed.
that's
So
that's
I get
such a good
that.
point. That is such a good point. Yeah, because in my family, like, that's all I need to do. I raised 5 kids by myself.
Mhm.
Like, and so how does that come across? Like, my daughter-in-laws, when they start raising their kids, like, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I can't complain about this," or, "I can't,
Mhm.
say this is hard because she raised 5 kids by herself." Like, the bar is always gonna be way up here. I hope none of them
Mhm.
have to do that. So that's such a good perspective to keep that in mind. They're
Yeah.
struggling. Um, yeah, that can be part of it. They're afraid and they're intimidated.
Isn't that most of relationships though that go south? Like so much of it is miscommunication. I've got 2 different people in my life right now that I can think about that are having kind of marriage struggles. And with both of these specific people, it's funny, love each other, but their communication styles are so different in both relationships that is their biggest struggle, that it almost outweighs the relationship of loving one another because the communication part is so difficult. And I think that especially, I mean, that's in a couple where you chose to be married. Think about a relationship where you're just put in the pot. The one
Yeah,
common thread, the
you don't
son
choose your mother-in-law.
chose, right. The son had that mom and chose me, and now I'm in the middle. And yet, we don't, if the communication isn't there naturally, and sometimes it is, but if it's a struggle, that makes it so much harder for miscommunication, misunderstandings. And I just think that's a lot of it. I think
Mhm,
it's not that this person's evil and this person's whatever. It's that I don't understand how you communicate and you don't understand how I communicate and it blows up and the walls build and then
mhm.
we're too prideful to knock them down and there's no
Right,
contact and it's
right.
Mhm.
And then too intimidated if we're intimidated, we're like, "Oh, I'm not gonna say anything.
not right.
I'm not gonna
And
bring
then
that
if
up." So then
and then
it's
if they
see
do say something, the mother-in-law is like, I mean, that's your moment. That's your moment if you're the mother-in-law. If a daughter-in-law dares to bring something up, you have the chance to blow it or you have the chance to really bring them closer and make that a connection point. And unfortunately, it takes the daughter-in-law has to probably be the brave one in that moment because I don't know that it's the mother-in-law's place to go, "Hey, did you mean to do that? Because I hurt my feelings." I mean, I don't know. I just think mother-in-law, we should freaking get over it at this point. But
mhm. Yeah,
I
we are
do
the
think
older.
Or maybe just give them the benefit of the doubt,
a
right? I mean,
100%, Alicia.
maybe that
Yes.
first draft Instead of being
Right.
like, "Oh, well, she probably was trying to do this and she thought I was parenting bad and what." Maybe we just give them, maybe we're like, "You know what? Maybe she just forgot. Maybe she was busy with the kids and she didn't mean to like not call me or forget to say what give me whatever. Maybe she like what if we just give each other the benefit of the doubt?"
Maybe she's in menopause and going through a hot flash. And so you think she's over there sweating because she's mad at you because you didn't let her hold the grandbaby, but she's really
Mhm.
just about to peel her skin off because it's
Right.
150 degrees
Yeah, and
inside her
hormones are
body.
raging.
Right. Right, and she's
Yeah,
having
that's part of it
anxiety.
too,
Well, listen,
honestly.
and in menopause, let me just tell you, young ladies who haven't gotten there yet, you lucky little angels, it makes you crazy. I mean, truly, like anxiety, I never had anxiety until then, and so maybe they're feeling anxious about everything because of their hormones, and it has nothing to do with you,
Mhm.
daughter-in-law. Maybe just like when you have a baby and your hormones go crazy, and so you don't want anybody around you, it's probably we're gonna blame it all on
Okay,
hormones. Let's
okay,
just say
so
it's
be
all hormones.
I love that.
Hormones.
Let's flip it because this is a podcast that daughter-in-laws are listening to
Right.
the mother-in-laws. So
Yeah.
let's make that script. What would a
Yeah.
mother-in-law say to like, "Hey, I need you to understand that I'm not feeling good right now. I need you to understand that my hormones are crazy." And it's not an excuse to be a bitch. It's not for a mother-in-law. What would we say in those situations that we want the daughter-in-laws to know about going through menopause or just being this age? What would you say?
Well, as hard as it is, I will say it's not harder than being a mother of a young child. That is still harder. So I'm not
Mhm.
sure we say much because they're over there going to be saying, "Girl, let me give you," I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Well,
mean,
Well, maybe it's
I,
just like to have a little bit of empathy or just understand that there's changes that are happening. I don't know.
I think that's it. I think just again, it goes back to what Alicia just said, giving the benefit of the doubt that it might not even be about you. That was my point of saying it. It probably has nothing to do. I
right.
mean, I think it might just be that they too have crap going on and they too have struggles and it comes out wrong and it comes out ugly, but it really is something even about them. I mean, getting older and this next stage is still stressful, still has financial worry, still has exhausting moments, still has health issues. It just looks different. And so I just think it's that grace and understanding of let me take my own shoes off and let me just slip into what your shoes might feel like. It might not be what I'm over here imagining. That was my point of saying that.
Mhm.
I think that benefit of the doubt is powerful if we can just do that.
It doesn't give us license to treat them poorly. We're not saying that.
Absolutely not.
We're just
Absolutely
trying to
not.
have empathy for each other. That's all.
That's right.
Listen, everybody's allowed to have a bad day.
Yeah.
You guys are so
I
quiet.
mean,
Like, I'm like,
well,
Boom.
I'm just
Mic
we
drop.
are,
um
right? I mean,
we are, but I'm thinking these comments, I'm going back to comments originally
Mhm.
and they were complaining. I mean, their stories were kind of horrible. The things they were
for
saying was
sure.
much more, than having
They
a
were having
day.
like the mother-in-law was having a bad life.
Correct, and blaming them for it, and listen, we're not a fan of that, and it's hard to answer every situation because we don't know it, but there are some basics, like we've talked about, to both sides. Treat each other like a friend. Don't have the expectations. Dare to be vulnerable. Get to know each other, as human beings, not necessarily as your, you know, mother of your husband, but as a human being. You might actually enjoy her as a human being if you can set aside her role, you know?
Do they need
Something
to
in
do
common.
that? Do mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws need to have a relationship? Because if she has a mom and I mean, yes,
Yeah.
the answer is
Because if
yes.
they don't have a relationship, you're not gonna let them near the grandbabies. You're not gonna want them in your home. You're not gonna wanna spend time with them. It is extended family. It's still family, just looks differently. And so, yes, I want my family to have a relationship with me. I've gone to a couple of funerals lately of extended family, of cousins and, my aunt, and, to be honest, it made me sad that I didn't know my extended family. I saw them there, other first cousins, and we were little, we were so close, but as adults, I don't see them very often, and I know them, they're still in my family, but I don't have a close relationship with them. And to be honest, that was kinda sad for me to see them, but not know their stories, not
Mhm,
know what's really happening
mhm.
in their life now. And so,
Mhm.
for me, I think it would make me so sad if I didn't have some sort of knowledge of what was happening in their life. It doesn't have to be day
Mhm.
to day, but it is
Yeah,
lovely.
absolutely.
My son and daughter-in-law just rescued a new kitty cat, and her name is Belly. If you watch The Summer I Turned Pretty, her name is Belly, and she is so cute. And I love that she sent me a picture of her, and I got to
Mhm.
ask about her and told me the story. But it just takes effort. It takes a
Mhm.
lot of effort.
Have you guys studied the blue zones? It made me think of the blue zones and those areas where there's the most centurions. And family is a huge thing, and usually they're all together. They're all the
The
grandparents, they're
different
all
generations.
together. Yes, all the generations are together, and I think culturally, obviously, we don't do that. It's so much about being by yourself, and I feel like sometimes this next generation can be like, "It's me, my husband, my family, that's all we need, that's all we're doing," when really it proves family, I'm sure they have issues that maybe they just learn to talk about it, can add life to all of us and our soul, like bring life. Now, if they're toxic, obviously not. But I'm curious, do they talk through things? Or do they just have so much grace for each other? There's not competition. You're kind of locking arms and going, all right, how can we do this life together? How can we as grandparents come together and help you, not help you raise your kids, but how can we come alongside you and be a part of that? Because it brings us life, it brings the kids life, it helps you. Like, I just feel like culturally we've wrecked it.
Yeah, how
We
can
have
we
wrecked
show up
that.
for you and how can we support you in your new role as
Hmm.
the mom and the person
Hmm.
that's making all the decisions for the children and all those things?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was just interesting to see that people who live to be over 100, the family is a big together. All I mean, we can't fathom that. We don't do that anymore as a culture, but family is so important for our health, our mental health, and I guess that's why we're one of the things why we're here is to try to help both sides. We're not saying have a relationship with your toxic mother-in-law. That's not it.
No.
We're just trying to help her understand her role and then help the daughter-in-laws understand your role better so that we can come together and maybe have a better relationship with each other. I don't feel like it's too late.
Yeah, I love
So,
that you said that that it's not too late. That would be our goal, that even if there is a toxic relationship currently, that if there's any hope of some reconciliation, restoration, that you would be open to that on both sides, whether you're the mother in law or the daughter in law, that you might pause and say, okay, do I have anything that I need to own in this relationship? How I've contributed to this being a toxic relationship? Is there anything I've learned that I could do differently or do better to help it not be a toxic relationship?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you are a daughter-in-law and or a mother-in-law and you've done that or you're doing that and you're in that posture, we are proud of you because that is not common. Like we said earlier, you can go on social media and find all kinds of things about toxic mother-in-laws and people just ranting, and that is doesn't do any good. It doesn't help. And so if you are coming at this, even listening to this in a posture of wanting to do better, we're proud of you and keep going. It'll be worth it.
And we want you to feel seen on both sides.
Mhm.
We want to see you if you're the hurting mother-in-law and your family has cut you off. We hope that there is hope for you too, and we want to see you if you're the daughter-in-law who's had to set some tough boundaries because it's not gone well. But we also hope for you that you might be willing to take a second look if it is something that can be reconciled and restored. For sure. It's a tough
Absolutely.
one. I mean, we recognize that it's tough and there's no perfect, easy answer. And we definitely don't know every relationship and every story.
Right, right, exactly. So I hope for you, daughter-in-laws, just hearing a little bit from the mother-in-law. And honestly, we didn't get much response, so that says a thing or two. I don't know if they're just, I don't know what that means, but we didn't get much response. But what we did get was pretty insightful.
Mhm.
And so thanks for. You guys have any deposits, Alicia? Anything come to mind
I do.
for
I
this
do.
particular, dynamic of what we're talking about today? We're listening to the mother-in-laws.
Yeah. I was thinking about this when y'all were talking about cooking, people in the kitchen, can I help? I personally don't like when people help. Anyway, we won't talk about all that. I just want you to sit and talk to me. But my small deposit for y'all is to see if your mother-in-law has any family recipes that she can pass down to you. Maybe they were dishes that she made for your husband when he was younger. that were like his favorite dish. Maybe it was something that her mother-in-law or mom or grandma or somebody passed down as family heritage. Go see if there are any family recipes and ask her to share those with you and teach you how to make them.
Love
That
that.
is a great idea. That is I know if my daughter-in-laws came to me, I would feel so honored that they wanted to
Mhm.
continue on with those, so that's a great
What
idea.
would me? Or Carrie? Oh,
Either
me.
one.
So it's interesting. We actually have like a family dinner with the grown children and the grandchildren every Wednesday night at my oldest son's house. And so on birthday dinners, I make what my son's favorite whatever they wanted for dinner. But if I had a recipe to pass down, it would probably be from my dad's family. They're Czech, and it would be kolachkis, which are like a little Czech pastry that my grandma used to make. She taught me how to make them.
Yum.
Sometimes I'll make them at Christmas, but, I don't know, maybe one of my daughters-in-law or my granddaughters will pick that up and be like, "Hey, Gigi, how do we make the kolachkis?" Yeah,
I
Yeah,
love
so
that.
sounds amazing.
that's kind of
What
a
would you make, Carrie?
Yep.
passed down recipe.
So my mom, when growing up, she used to make it's just so simple, but my boys loved it. It was just sausage, like kielbasa sausage and onions and peppers and hominy and potatoes fried up in a pan. My kids loved that. They asked for that recipe.
I
Mom, can you?
love
And it's
that.
so easy, but I guess being boys, it was just
Yeah.
Meat.
yeah,
Give me some
give me
meat.
some
Yeah.
meat and
Give me the
potatoes, that's
meat
all I want.
potatoes.
Yeah, but
I
she
love
would make
that.
that all the time, so and there's so many, she's such a great cook, actually, we're gonna be doing apples tomorrow and canning apples with my mom tomorrow, so,
Oh, I
that's
love
gonna be
that.
I know, so magic, so magic. Kath, what about you? Do you have a recipe?
I did that for my kids this past Christmas. We made them a recipe
That's
book.
right,
We did
that's
all
right.
the family recipes and from
You're
my
so good.
mom and Jeff's mom and all from every kind of sweets and things. My kids, my boys love, it's funny, different boys have different things. They all love my enchiladas, so they all want that recipe to know how to make all the time. And their favorite sweet treat, they love my homemade cinnamon rolls. So that is
Mm,
one that they all have asked for over the years and love to carry on and make. But
oh
yeah,
my gosh, that
they
sounds
loved
amazing.
that too. I thought that was not gonna be necessarily appreciated, but even my baby, who was 18 at the time, loved it, and they're so cute because 'cause they're all using it. They're all using the recipe book now, cooking it,
I
so
love
Oh,
it.
that's
it was
such
a
a great idea.
good decision.
Christmas gift idea. It's not too
Yes,
early.
definitely
Yep,
pass that on. It was super
yeah,
easy. Use
that's such
Canva,
a
get
that's
a
such a great
custom
idea.
notebook, it was great. Yeah, I love
I
this
feel like
one, I
that's
hope it
something
was
real quick, I feel like
encouraging.
that's something they can do you can do as a mother-in-law whether they ask for it or not, you know?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, for
Well,
okay.
sure.
and what I did is I made blank pages so they could add their own recipes in there too.
That's such a great
That
idea.
just matched what I used too, and then I encourage them to and if you do it on Canva, you can add to it, and they can share the recipes back with you if they have some. Anyway, it's cool. I
Great.
love it.
Yeah, I love it. As far as this podcast, just, if you're a daughter-in-law, just like Alicia said, make that one if you haven't done that yet. I think that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Good.
so we're gonna close this up. There's always so much to talk about, you guys. But I love that this episode letting mother-in-laws know that we hear you too, and we want to hear from you too. So if you're on here and you haven't listened to our podcast, go on any of the platforms that you listen to and go find Great Roots. We're in season 3, also and on social media. We're on there a little bit. It's kind of fun. And just share us. Share us. We want to spread this positive message, you guys. There's all like we said, so much negativity that we're just trying to bring some positivity into this space. So go and share it with the people that you know and any mother-in-laws. And we'd love to hear from you. DM us if you have anything you just want to share. We're here, right? We answer when we can. And we will see you next week with Lauren. She's the therapist we are bringing on this season, and she's going to be fantastic because she does hear from daughter in laws. And so that will be next week. All right,
Awesome.
girls. We'll see you then.
Woot
All right.
woot.
Bye.
Bye.